Don't disappear just yet. I'll try your coffee. And Seamus, when he gets up here, we'll ask him to do the address then. So it's just so some people might think they're finished and then we'll drift off. So do that in about 15-20 minutes. At most. Just stick on to that. Seamus, just stick on to that. We get it set up and then we go. Can you hear me over there? John, lines? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Testing 1, 2.
You know that man there? Who is he? That's Daddy, isn't it?
Kijk je uit?
Move back. Is that evil? Hey, move back and hit us first.
Fishing all morning and she does an amazing turnout without fail every year, so long may it continue. And the development has gone on even from last year. Only yesterday we saw the arrival from Dublin of this piano. What a beautiful piece of work, and Pádraig knew exactly what to get and it arrived only yesterday. So Marie Walsh tried it out this morning and she has given it her imprimatur. So hopefully she'll come and do a recital sometime on it here with her family and friends. And it's been a great year, as you know. Some of you were here for the official opening on the 14th of May, when we expected maybe 100 people to turn up. We have only 60 or 70 here tonight. There were at least 300 people here in the night. The village people kept coming through the evening, and I won't tell you what time the bar closed at, but it was late. Incredible occasion, the official opening, which we've been. Pádraig and Penny McDonald have been dreaming about this since 1968, and really came to fruition. And it's not fully paid for yet, but we're well on the way. And there's a very lively programme of classes all through the winter, and we have people like Brian Moyston and Fiona Doherty, Emma, Edwina Guckian, and the Shannos dancing. It's a fantastic programme that takes place here through the winter, and that will play for the heat and light, hopefully. Michael Hurley here comes to the schools in the surrounding area, and you saw the result of his band. There are going to be 3 or 4 bands coming from Sligo to Cavan here at Pittsburgh, Sligo here. And Michael Sheridan on the drums as well. And there might be other teachers before the winter is out. Now, the commemorative address every year has been given to us by somebody who is steeped in the tradition, either a musician themselves or somebody with a deep interest and connection to the music of Sligo. Seamus Mac Mathuna has been timber, ceoil. He's been working with Coatless Cloud 30 years as a professional recorder, producer of traditional music, a passion for singing, a great singer himself, and has stormed a trail in Coatless and in the promotion of what he is trying to do. Clareman, Clare originally, and it's great that he is in reasonable health at the moment. He has had a couple of setbacks in recent times, which is fantastic. I think he's enjoying his visits to Riverstone so far, and Seamus enjoyed the evening and the night too, so it's great that you've made it. So, to reflect on the Morrison tradition and the tradition of South Sligo in terms of his own work and what he feels like saying. So Seamus, the middle of it.
Upsarán an cóiltis agus a bhuiine úsle. Tá is mór man nádam dar iad bhéan seo. Ag sanáid seo agus ag gáid mar seo. Mar an bhd tá fice go mar réan lé agus an bhd tá tuirte go faoináid seo le Brian Dinton nús. Fictar dom go bhfuil an rud is bunúsaí agus an rud is tátaí a bhfuil is na cóiltis. Go bhfuil sé sin ar siú go héfachtach agus go tréan agus go misnúil agus go hára go ceoldan. What I have seen is the President and friends since they've come here today and they've taken a kind of a welcome tour, which it emphasised to me a whole lot of things. It emphasised to me the understanding, the spirit, the concern, the overall integrity of this great branch of Gorges, and indeed, if I talk about Sligo generally, in the various ceoil and so on that are around here. First of all, you appreciate your heritage. Secondly, everybody seems to know fine details of maybe tunes that were played by particular. Not just by Morrison and Killoran and Coleman, but lesser known musicians, tunes that were played in a particular area and the houses where people lived and all this thing. Piper Gorman, the late John Gardner, who was from the area, he had spoken to me, 35 years ago, about Piper Gorman, and I was thrilled again to hear, of a place that Piper Gorman frequented and the tunes that were associated with him and so on. All that, and I think above all, the fact that not alone do you appreciate and you know and understand the tradition, going back, say, you know it intimately, going back about 100 years. And in fact, one of the things that we came up with in a discussion with someone, that tradition was so wonderful, and it was at such a level of skill and technique, and very many, you could say, you think about Morrison, you think about Killoran, think about Coleman, think about Candrigal, anyone with dozens more, and you'd say, and that all this area involving several parishes, and again I want to, we're talking mostly about this area, about Riverstown and about Morrison. The fact is that same appreciation seems to run right through this area. People realised that there was. Now, what I was going to say was, one wonders, it was a pity the tape recorder wasn't invented about 50 years earlier. It would be just wonderful to be able to play tunes by the Piper Gorman or the great musicians that, say, the Coleman and Morrison, the people who passed on that level of skill and technique and feeling for the beauty and the possibility of playing a tune well and playing it, putting your own stamp on it, and ending up with a situation where you have, looking back over 100 years, we can look back and say, these people influenced not just this area, they influenced the whole country, and in areas where the music had died. And to a fair extent, it had died in many areas throughout the country. People got I was going to say the LPs, they got the old 78s, and they had the old gramophones, and people, I remember a man telling me how we, down in West Cork, in fact, how we used to sit down and listen to Coleman and Morrison and Killoran, and how he used to cry to think that Irish music could be played at that level. And I think that's a wonderful thing, and that's the thing, I think, I'm going to play a few tunes now, and sorry, I'm going to play recordings of a few tunes. We're going to start with Rakish Paddy and the Wheels of the World. It was one of the famous Morrison tracks, and the reason I know it was famous in West Clare, one of our great local fiddlers, Joe Ryan from Ireland, he was practicing for the All Ireland. This is way back in 1958 or 59, and the tunes he had picked, I asked him what tunes he picked, and he said, I'm going to have a go at Morrison's two reels, he said, and the Wheels of the World and Rakish Paddy. And when I heard, in due course, when I heard Morrison, as he played them on this recording here, I could see why anybody would just expect and maybe hope to win the All Ireland with these kind of tunes, played in this kind of style. Now. to the tunes. I always considered, and a lot of people would agree that was, Rakish Paddy especially, was one of Morrison's really outstanding tunes. Interestingly too, Johnny Dolan, the famous piper, Paddy Piper, who was a hugely inspirational figure way back in the 1930s and 1940s. He again did a virtuoso version of Rakish Paddy, just the two parts in fact, but it was a stunning one. And in fact, even our West Clare Piper, Willie Clancy, again, he loved the Rakish Paddy. Again, he did a wonderful version and recording of Rakish Paddy. In the case of the Fields of the World, again, I remember Sean Ryan, who was a well-known fiddler up from the 1940s, 1950s, and he was from a small area in North Tip, near outside Newport, near us, which produced Paddy O'Brien, it's probably the mic, is it? Paddy O'Brien, Sean Ryan on the they went on the tour accordion, famous, a great accordion player. Sean Ryan on the fiddle, and Peter Maloney on the flute, and each of these was outstanding. So but those kind of areas were fairly few. Sligo seemed to have them in all over the place, if you like. And Clare had a fair bit of them too, and East Galway had. But anyway, no, sorry, I just wanted to remark that in fact Sean Ryan played the Wheels of the World, but much slower and kind of gently. And it in its own way was wonderful too. But really Morrison's playing, it's rousing, it lifts you up and you feel like shouting or jumping around the place or something, That's how it affects me anyway. I'm going onto jigs now. And the first jig here, before I had Morrison playing it, I had Sean O'Reilly's Joe Cohen playing it. And they were playing... sorry?
Just the speaker is facing, it's picking up the...
Yeah, maybe if I went closer, I'd leave it on. Yeah. Sean O'Reilly and the Joe Cohen had played a nice version of it, just a two-part version of the tune. It went, and that was grand. And then one night I had Morrison's recording of it. I had a third part, and it lifted you up. And the first two parts were great, far more exciting than any version we had had of it before. And then he had this great third part, and I thought it was the most wonderful bit of jig playing that I'd ever heard. So I hope it's here. with playing or recording like this, you know, when you hear Morrison or something like that, playing like that, you just can't go fading it out, you can, you know. So I just played a short piece of one more recording, and then I went up with a few things I have to say. And that is a duet recording this time, and we won't play the full thing because I know people have other things to be doing. And it's himself and Johnny Kennan. But again, and it reminds me, they had to say, you might prefer this recording of Fiddle and Flute, or maybe Peter Hall and Fred Finn, and they're going very well. But anyway, it's Morrison again in great form and playing along with McKenna. And it's great music. That is so powerful and it speaks so strongly to the heart and to your musical appreciation, if you like. That music be listened to again and again, and not just a general, so that people would have a clear indication of the greatness and the technique and the feeling and the guts and all the character and power and spirit that was in this music. Now, having said that, I want to come right down to the present day and to congratulate the various branches and the various people, whether it's within coaches or outside, who are, like, there's a whole generation of young people coming up, playing the music very beautifully. We had them today there in the street, and it was lovely. And again, I felt just as proud of what was being done now, as I would be proud if I was a Sligo man. But anyway, as a musician, I would still be proud of that music. In the overall tapestry, if you like, of the music from various areas, it's wonderful, it's outstanding. And the great thing is, young people are being taught the music. And it isn't just like for a weekend or something. In various halls and schools and places like that, there are people who play the music well, coming along, teaching the basic tunes, taking the young musicians from the absolute beginner stage right through to proficiency in the late teens. And I see people here in front of me too who are doing it in other parts of the country. I see Vincent Griffin there, who again is a chairman and a long-time friend of mine. And again, I remember talking about Morrison's music with Vincent years ago, and we talked about the Flax and Bloom, wasn't it, as one of his, and the other one was McFadden's, wasn't it? McFadden's, where they were. So, you know, the appreciation isn't just around here, no. It's throughout the amongst the musicians throughout the country. But most important of all, week after week, you know, so it's really once the weather in October and November and into January and February, there are musicians, and there are 7 of them here now. I won't go into names because I surely miss one or two. But it's a fact that I want to state, and that you appreciate the importance of it. That musicians are busy right through, not just at summer at the weekend things, but right through the year. And maybe if it's Tuesday night, if it's Thursday night, there might be pouring rain, or maybe in a drafty or school or something like that. But the teaching is going on, and people are being told, they're being taught the music, and they're being told that a certain musician lived in a house down that road, or a certain piper used to play in a house over there. And all that part of the tradition is really very important, because I live in Dublin, and it's fine, you're teaching young people in Dublin, teaching them to play jigs and reels and whatever, and it's hard for them to relate to it. The only thing is they get kind of hooked, if you like, but it isn't quite part of their own overall lifestyle and background. But here, in areas like this, it's wonderful that the music is being taught, and the history of the music, and the lore that goes with fiddlers or pipers or flute players. All that is being passed on, and passed on also in a suitable, a lovely building like you have here, and with a whole lot of archive material to hand, with a whole lot of artifacts as well, connected with Morrison or any of the other musicians of olden times. I think that is great. I think that is wonderful. And I want, in particular, if I make so bold, as to name Padraig Cairns, for one, as a man who I shared sessions of flute playing with Flag Girls a few years ago. And indeed, Martin then right here beside me, who I know has put an awful lot of work. You should be very proud that that is happening. And also, that maybe is good, or nearly as good, but it's certainly the same kind of thing is happening in Seamus Mac Mathuna''s own branch in Ballytower, yeah. And in the Coleman, Cutgene, and the most important thing, okay, it's important to listen to music, but the most important thing in terms of the history of the music, in terms of the appreciation of the music, that we're aiming at the same excellence, if you like, and the same spirit, and the same feeling, and the same passion, that it's there amongst the young people, and they set out to emulate the Colemans and the Piper McCormans and the JamesMorrisons. I suppose I've said more than enough. I'm sure there's a whole lot of things, but I'm getting down a little bit scattered. And I also wanted to mention John Gardner. I knew him well, a great flute player, and I recorded chats with him about Piper, Gorman and all that kind of thing. Just like, as I said, I'm getting now a little bit scattered, and all the things that I knew about these people, most of it forgotten, but I'm thrilled at the same time, and I think it's just wonderful that in parishes like this around here, the tradition is being, if you like, unearthed again, and the history that goes with the tunes, and all that thing. I'm saying it maybe for the third time now, but that is so important.
That address could only have come from the heart. As always with Seamus Mac Mathuna, because he has lived it himself. He knows his music like very few people do, and all the different versions. I think, and it was very appropriate that Seamus would have been here this year when the place was officially opened just a couple of months ago. And it's really full circle. Pádraig Kearns is the man behind it all. Give us a few words, Pádraig.
It's a privilege to have Seamus. I'm delighted on court every thanks to him for his lovely presentation here this evening. And just to say that, there's great history around this. It has been spoken about, talked about within this branch. We were talking as we were talking there, sitting down. The branch was formed in 78, and the dream was at some day to put a monument at Drumfin in honour of JamesMorrison. So this gradually came to fruition in 93 in the commemoration of his centenary of his birth. And from there on, the dream of this building was the next big event. And of course, the festival before that to honour his memory. And that took place from 93 onwards. And has been a continued great success and has brought, as I said, the best of musicians right throughout the 32 counties and beyond. And then this centre was the final feature as far as I was concerned, and now that has been finally delivered and officially opened last May. And another feature was to put that piano there, as a very important, as not alone to just assure the music of the building. Because I always believe no music session is fully complete without a good pianist there in the back. To give clear instruction of itself. Well, the other aspect of my dream was, of course, that the monument in Castlebar, which is out just 2 miles from the area, but it acknowledges all the musicians right around from Riverstown to practically way out Bannerush and all that circle of Castlebar, and many great people like Sonny Flynn, Phil McConnell, a few to mention. It's about, I don't know, many names is exactly on the monument. Brendan McCabe, many more. But they're all great people. Des McConnell, many more. But they're just the ideas and dreams I had over the years, along with the branch. A great committee with Martin and all the people. Some of them have, since I became chairman, have passed their return and reward, but we're still doing the job as best we can. And with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Small additional thing that might happen by this time next year, but a lovely moment in Tubbercurry where Gaelin relaunched the double CD of the music of Michael Coleman. 2 CDs and a booklet with some extra tracks added, and that was launched there in early July. And we mentioned about Morrison music. They said we're ahead of you. They have it taken well. Harry Bradshaw was the one who gave us all these photographs in 1993. Harry did the remastering for the double tapes he already put out of Morrison's music, but now that's no longer available. So the cassette covers in there in the display centre, and they're going to do the double CD of Morrison's music. Hopefully it's next year, so we'll love it. Trust me, happen. We'll have you all back for the launch of that. Now, come in, Margaret. Enjoy the evening. Let us go to the pubs.
Hold on. Just come on.
Right, Julia.
My God, I wasn't taking the sound at all. Oh, sorry. I wanted to read the poem. I was supposed to finish with that. Can I do that?
Yeah, this was the poem he read on the roadside, but of course you didn't hear half the words because of the traffic. So let's hear the poem.
Yes, I wrote it because I was invited by Seamus to a function, and I said to myself, "What the hell is a clear fella coming up talking to Schlegel men about Schlegel music?" So I can sometimes write a line or two that makes, I hope, might sound nice. Anyway, I wrote basically a few verses. Passes. Have to tackle with the extreme now. The music of Schlegel, well, it charms the heart. Like a mountain stream in its swirl and flow, and her fiddlers and fluters excel in the art of gilding and gracing with breadth and with bow. And I have listened to fiddle and flute in the hands of 2
with a talent golden, giving us moments of beauty and truth, the spirit, the soul of the land of Holman. And many's the night but 12 long past, and the noisy throngs long gone to their beds, in some country kitchen of flagged floor bar, with the joist in the music of Peter and Fred. And lucky were those who shared in the joy, as Finn and Holden, like giants in a dream, merged wood, wind and string, to lift us on high, took pleasures of bliss with their artistry supreme. And still, through the haze of years two score, in the call of the flute and the song of the wood, the rhythm and drive as the melody soars, the music of Holden enlivens my blood. And Fred, dear friend of the gentle wit, and the dreamer's eye, and the roguish smile, bowing and gilding the mountainy reels in the splendour and grace of the Sligo style. They gave us friendship, aye, and laughter too, and the joy of the music shone in their faces with the heathery breeze and the morning dew, the boy in the hilltop and the Mullingar races. Their kindly welcome we still recall, to stranger lass or to bashful youth, for their circle was open, embracing all. Come over and join us, get out that old flute. And proud are we who have listened a while, and shaken their hands by the light of dawn, amongst the many who cherish their tunes and their style. The music of Holden and Finn lives on. Good morning. Oh, they're still so dear to me, and I gaze across the ocean till my eyes are dim with tears. Can I tell you of the vision that I see? As a barefoot boy, I played there when the summer sun would shine around the steeple of the little church down there, where we gathered every evening when the weather would be fine, outside the chapel gate in Courtclair. And in dreams I love to ramble down that little village street, for to meet the boys and girls all gathered there, for to sing the good old songs, telling of old Ireland's wrongs, around the chapel gate in Courtclair. Oh, there were weddings planned and matches made, and stories old and new went around amongst the boys all gathered there, and we played our football matches till the final whistle blew, around the chapel gate in Courtclair. And we would talk about the neighbours or the weather or the times, and who the lads were courting in the sly. We would watch the colleens passing, and we'd bid them the time of day, and hope to catch a twinkle in their eye. But now I'm growing old and feeble in this land so far away, but someday soon I will return, if God will spare. And when all is done, they'll lay me at the closing of my day, inside the chapel gate in Courtclair. And my spirit it will wander down that little village street, for to meet the boys and girls all gathered there, and we'll sing the good old songs of old Ireland's rights and the wrongs. Outside the chapel gate in Clare.
Going to pay a visit down to John McDermott's pub, I think, very soon. So the singing session has started there already, and others have to get down the town to various other sessions. So, William Mohammed, that was a wonderful commemorative address, one of the longest ever.
I was thrilled to be asked, and I was thrilled over again when I saw all the work that was going on here, and particularly the kids learning the music and being so enthusiastic about the whole history of the music. And I wish I had done this job about 5 years ago. You know, I'm getting a bit scattered and that kind of thing, but I speak from the heart anyway, and as I said,
We had to go down the town.